everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to teach you how to make this creamy cucumber salad. It was my grandma's recipe. What you're going to need is just a few ingredients, really just a few. You're going to need 2 to 4 cucumbers depending on the size and how much you're making. You're going to need some sweet onion. This is a sweet Spanish onion. You're not going to need a whole big one, just need a little bit. Salt and pepper, just table salt, nothing special. And you're going to need sour cream, 8 to 16 ounces, depending again on how much you're going to use. And then you're going to need some apple cider vinegar or white vinegar. And I'll tell you the difference in a few minutes. You're going to need a vegetable peeler. And then I'm using my mandolin to get the cucumber slices real thin. But you just need to be able to cut real thin, okay? And a bowl. That's it. Well, again, we're going to use a whisk. I mean a spatula, but that's okay. So basically you're just going to peel your cucumbers, and I'm not going to speed this video up at all so you guys can get the real time 16-minute dish that it is. All right. So I got this recipe from my dad, who got it from his mom. My grandma was Austrian ancestry that grew up in Poland, so she was Polish and Austrian. And she was just the most wonderful cook. My father, who we thought was the most wonderful cook, used to think she was the most wonderful cook. So as you see here, I'm just peeling both cucumbers. You're going to cut off the ends, so that's not important. And with the mandolin, I'm going to lose one end in the mandolin anyway. So I've just peeled over a paper towel, so it makes cleanup really easy. I'm just going to set it off to the side because I'm going to use that to collect all my garbage. I do have a mini garbage can on my countertop, if you could see it there. But this is going to just be so much that I'm just going to take it to the garbage can on that paper towel. So if you guys have been around before, you've seen me cut an onion. But I'm not going to cut this onion all the way. I'm just going to cut off the stem end, and then I'm going to cut off a small piece. Jim doesn't like a lot of onion. The recipe my dad taught me was 1 small onion to 3 cucumbers or 2 cucumbers, depending on the size of the cucumbers. But Jim doesn't really like that much onion in it. It gives him gas. So this is mostly just for me and for flavor. Okay, and what we're going to do is we're going to cut slices so we can get those little half rings. All right, so we're just going to cut on one of the ends, or where the root end was, I should say. And I could have taken this to my mandolin, but I just want to show you guys, if you go slow and you take your time, you can get nice thin slices. Sounds like I need to sharpen my knife. My goodness. So always check that before you start cutting, right? Yeah, Jer. I can hear my dad right now saying, Jer, check that knife before you finish. Okay, so we're just going to put that in the onions off to the side. All right. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to get a mandolin together. This mandolin is from the Pampered Chef. I sold the Pampered Chef for like 5 minutes. And in the starter kit that I paid for, I got this mandolin, which I just love. Whenever I make the potatoes, they're not funeral potatoes, just I make the potatoes for funerals. I always use my mandolin. And maybe I'll teach you guys that recipe. If anybody's interested in learning the bacon sour cream potato or gratin thing that I make, just leave it in the description box down below. It's not my recipe, I got it off the Pinterest, but I'll share it with you anyway. So I want to show you guys that you could use this mandolin over a bowl, and I do sometimes, depending on the bowl, but it has a stand so that you can stand it, and you can actually stand it over a bowl But this bowl just isn't the right size, so I'm just going to stand it over the counter instead of getting a different bowl. I'm not making that much of the salad, that's why I picked this small bowl, but usually I use a much bigger bowl. Now with the mandolin, if you guys have never used one before, it's super easy. It's got super sharp knife. This mandolin from Pampered Chef has like 5 different blades that it came with that are interchangeable, and this one is the V slicer, and it's making super thin cuts. And when you start to get your vegetables down towards the slider, then you're going to go ahead and put the guide on. But we're not there yet. In fact, I want to show you how fast I did that. And it's a lot easier to clean up this mandolin than it is a Cuisinart. This little thing fits in the dishwasher. All the parts come apart, and all the parts are dishwasher safe. I usually take the stand off just because it doesn't get dirty. And it comes off real easy. And just make sure you wash the counter first. I always keep my counter clean, but make sure you wash the counter first before you go ahead and slice on the counter. Or I could have put a cutting board down or anything if I wanted to, too. My cucumbers weren't quite small enough to get the handle on it, so let me get a couple of more out. There we go. Now I'm lined up. There we go. And then this makes it super safe, too. If you're a noob and you're slicing and dicing, this is a really great tool to have. Or if you're doing anything with massive amounts. Obviously, if you're doing like a gallon of this salad, maybe you get a Cuisinart, but I just want to show you that. I lose a little bit at the end of my mandolin. It's the very tip. And then I just clean it off and it goes in the dishwasher. You know, first I take the part and rinse it, and then I put everything in the dishwasher. You know, I've never talked to you guys about my dishwasher before. Like, I always encourage my friends who rent. I don't rinse my dishes before I put them in the dishwasher because my dishwasher tabs won't clean them properly. I do that to keep the food out of my dishwasher. You know, your dishwasher does chew up certain amounts of food, but think about it. If it could chew up a gallon of food before you have to clean it, and you rinse the dishes, it'll take you 5 years to fill it, as opposed to if you don't rinse the dishes, it'll be full in a few months. Alright, so that's the only reason I do that. I just like to rinse everything before I put it in the dishwasher. Okay? And I am crazy about washing my hands. Probably from working in the group home for so long. It's one of the infectious disease prevention things that they teach us, constantly washing your hands. So the next thing is to basically put in the onions with the cucumbers. I like to break up my onions so that they spread out a little bit. And you're just going to dump in salt and pepper. I know that sounds silly that I don't have a measurement, because it really does depend on how many cucumbers you have. So you see, I'm going to give it a generous amount of black pepper, and you can leave the black pepper out if you're sensitive to it. But I'm going to give a generous coating, probably a couple of teaspoons, and then there's probably a tablespoon to 2 tablespoons of salt, because you want to draw some of the moisture out of the cucumbers. And now I'm using cider vinegar. Cider vinegar tends to be a tiny bit sweeter than white vinegar, but it'll also make your cucumbers brown. So if you're doing this for a party or for for company, use white vinegar. It'll keep the cucumbers nice and white. However, then you might want to think about maybe adding some sugar. Some recipes call for sugar, some call for dill. We were never taught that. We just used white vinegar or cider vinegar, again, depending on if we were making it for somebody or for ourselves. But I like the way the cider vinegar tastes. It does give it a little bite. And then I'm covering with a plate to just try to weigh down the cucumbers a little bit into the vinegar. And then what you do is you're going to put it in the refrigerator overnight. I made this last night. I marinated them last night, and then this morning I went ahead and I put everything together. So And here we are the next day. This was this morning. I'm going to go ahead and take them out of the fridge. Grab some sour cream. And I would like to show you a couple of different tips if you like. If you see that the cucumbers have shrunk down away from the plate, they've leached out a lot more liquid. They've leached out a lot of their water, and they soaked up a lot of that vinegar. So one of the things I do want to share with you is if you don't like such a vinegar taste, you can rinse them at this point. They will still hold on to some of the vinegar taste. Some recipes call for just mixing the vinegar with the sour cream and just coating them so that you do get that vinegar bite. But that's totally, like I said, up to you. Other people also some people like them soupy, some people like them just very creamy. That's also, you can be controlled by how much sour cream you use. But here I am, I'm just trying to, I might have shoved that plate down a little too hard, hold on. I might have created a vacuum. Yeah, just give it a big, good bang, Jer. There you go. Okay. So you just want to drain off the excess liquid. That's what I'm doing here. It's okay if there's some in there still that mixes with the sour cream. Now at this point, if you don't like it to be such a harsh vinegar taste or like a tart taste, then you go ahead and give it a rinse. You can rinse your cucumbers. It'll still give a little bit of the vinegar bite. And also if you're using white vinegar, you might want to go ahead and rinse it anyway. Just because white vinegar does have a tiny bit more of a bite. But you know, cooking isn't like baking. Baking is about the chemistry of the balance of, you know, exact, precise measurements so that things do things. You know, cooking is interpretive. You know, you like your cucumber salad a little tart. You like your cucumber salad a little sweet. You like it extra creamy. You like it kind of liquidy. There's different ways. So what I'm using here, this is a 16-ounce container of sour cream. I'm using about half. So I'm using about 8 ounces of sour cream, two large cucumbers, and 1/4 of a sweet Spanish onion. And now you're just mixing it in, really, to your desired texture. I do like to refrigerate it after this point. You could eat it right away once you have it mixed, but I like to refrigerate it just to give it a few minutes or a couple of hours for the sour cream to amalgamate and, you know, combine with the cucumbers and the sour taste of the vinegar. And it just reminds me of Dad, you know. A lot of times I do the cooking and it just reminds me of my dad, and I miss him, but I miss Mom too, but she didn't cook that much. I miss her every time I craft. So I'm going to go ahead and cover this back up and put it in the refrigerator for a couple of hours. And then when we came home from shopping, we had some, and it was absolutely delicious, just like I always remembered. Okay? So that's me being crazy about my bowl, can you tell? Yeah, that's right. My hands are clean. I use my fingers. It's my food. You ain't coming to my house. Yeah, if you come to my house, I won't use my fingers, I promise. Mom doesn't even eat this, so she doesn't like any sauces and stuff. This is just really for me and Jim. Mostly for Jim. Jim had a special request for it. Okay, so that's everything, you guys. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you have any questions, and I'm sure you'll have questions, just leave them in the comment section down below. Don't forget to share this video with friends and family, anybody you might be interested in making this particular recipe. And if you do make it, let me know how you liked it, okay? And as always, take care. God bless. We'll see you next time. Bye.